Good afternoon, my people. How you all doing? If we're here again, it's every day you're going to see us. It's just non-stop. It's non-stop, but we love it. Love talking about the Arsenal. So we've got the match preview coming up. Arsenal against City. Is there any hope for us? I've got a great guest. Well, a couple of guests actually. We're going to get into it. Let's do this. It's just me. Let me get my guest in. Hold on. There they are. There they are.
He's like, we've got a couple of good guests, and then the people are like, and these guests are where?
Hiding. They're hiding. How are you doing, panel? How are you doing? We got to my, I don't know if it's left or right on the screen, but next to me anyway, is that side. We've got the AussieGoonr. How you doing?
I'm going good, bro. I was a little bit worried about this. I was a bit worried about the way you started off this whole show. You sounded down, lethargic, no energy. What is this, mate? What, you worried? Are you phased? You're showing cracks already. Come on now.
Do you know what? I was a little bit nervous going into it, but
nah,
it's one of them games where we're not expected to get anything from it. So let's just go and enjoy it. And again, it's a learning curve. It's trying to bridge that gap. Like we lost 5-0 away from home earlier in the season. If you come out with a result like Brentford got yesterday 2-1, then do you know what I mean? We're showing some signs of going in the right direction. So I think my mindset's changed a little bit on the game. But yeah, so that's enough about me. Let's get to our other panelist. SilvaFox, how you keeping?
I'm all good. Listen, if we get a result against City, what a way to start the year that would be. Yeah, let's digest it.
Let's get in. So obviously everyone knows we've got City coming up. First bit of breaking is obviously Arteta not going to be in the dugout. And again, if you go to games, if you watch from home, Arteta's ever present and he's very vocal on the sidelines, isn't he? He's not a manager who sits down and watches. He is up kicking every ball, orchestrating. He's signaling in the plane. He's doing everything. And he's the orchestra. Like he's doing
taking on other managers as well. You know, getting held back.
Yeah. He's giving it. So he's in the fourth official's ear. So he is very vocal on the sideline. So how much of a miss do you think this would be? And if you take it as Albert Stuivenberg is going to be taking the team on Saturday. So SilvaFox, give us a bit of how much do you know about the Albert guy? What's your thoughts on
Albert Stuivenberg?
Yeah,
obviously you can tell he's Dutch by his name. He's been an assistant manager at Man United and Holland. No, he's been the manager of the Holland under-17s. Won 2 championships with them. Players like Depay, just to name one at the top of my head.
Yeah.
Then he went on and got promoted to the under-21s. Then followed Van Gaal. No, then he went to, I can't remember the order, but he's managed, he's assistant managed. He's been at Man United, he's been at Genk, and now he's here. He could be the real genius. You don't know. You don't.
That's the thing.
You know, they speak highly of him, and he's very good with the young players. I think the AirPod gives it away. I'm intrigued to see, because he's quite animated as well. If you see the bench during games, he's just as animated as Arteta. So it is a concern that Arteta's not there, but let's just see what happens with him. And I imagine is Round still there? He'll be with him. So yeah,
fair enough. Ozzy, any thoughts on Arteta missing you? Does that worry you, or
it worries me? It does.
As a benefit.
It worries me a little bit because we've just gotten into, like, our young players have just gotten into a rhythm. They've got a guy out on the pitch, their captain, who leads them, who leads by example. You know, pushes them, presses them, tells them when they got to move the ball quicker, blah blah blah. And they've always got the gaffer in their ear on the sideline, so they know that they've always got, both ends covered. Is it going to shake them up? Maybe ever so slightly, but I'm hoping that they're growing up as a team, and they can just go in there, get the job done, knowing that the gaffer is still in the mix. He's still on the phone. He's still doing this. He's still screaming and yelling. And they should know by now that the game is in their hands, and they just got to remember that they've got to help hold their heads up high, regardless if the manager's there or not. It worries me a little bit because they're young. That's all.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with you. I think sometimes, but what we've seen from them, especially I would say Gabriel, is I think when he was next to Louise, he was not quiet, but he almost let Louise be the leader, and he kind of just fitted in.
Yeah.
And as soon as he's now been given responsibility, he's really stood up this year. And again, it might just be a case of actually we need to stand up. I think my biggest fear would be again the in-game audibles. Again, you're not being disrespectful to the other teams, but I think maybe 15 other teams you'll play against, you probably won't need as much in-game management as such, or more. Do you know what I mean? To just adapt something. But I think against City, again, you don't know what they're going to line up with straight away. So if Foden plays in the false nine, it's probably different to Grealish playing there. It's probably different to Jesus playing there. Do you know what I mean? I think Bernardo was playing in there the other day. They just change around every week. So straight away, as a manager, you might need to adapt to that. And he's not there for that. And again, it's when the game's panning out, you may have to have them in-game changes. And I think City's probably the game where you need that most, more than any other team, because you just never know what they're going to do. Whether it's Cancelo right back or Kyle Walker, it's going to look different than if it's Shinchenko left back or they've just got so many different variations, haven't they? So, but again, it'd be interesting to see how we get on. We think, for me, like we were on a quite a solid run. I actually was so disappointed the Wolves game didn't go ahead.
Oh, shit, me too, mate.
Yeah,
we needed this. We would have got 3 points there.
Yeah, when you're winning, you want the games, don't you? I look at other teams, and it's no surprise that Arteta's dealt with this so much different than Klopp. Do you know what I mean? We're on a good little run of form, so we want the games almost to come. Whereas Klopp, you can see he's losing his hair on the other. And you know what I mean? He had a 7-day rest the other day, and still
look, Klopp will whinge regardless. This is something I like Jurgen Klopp as a coach. I think he's wonderful. I think what he needs to do is stop whinging.
Yeah.
Either it's a referee or the weather ain't right or blah blah blah. You're a great coach. You've got a great squad. It's football. Sometimes it just don't work out, right? You can't have it your way.
I think it's in the German culture because Tuchel's the same. So.
Well, you know what? This is one thing for Liverpool fans, and I don't mind Liverpool fans. They're all right. But Arsene Wenger did a similar thing back in the day, and Arsenal is still paying for it now because every single friggin' referee hates us because of the shit that Wenger did. Now, Klopp is doing the same thing. Don't worry, it won't hurt you now. Give it a couple of years and see what happens. You wait till you start to see those calls go against you. But regardless, that's Klopp.
Yeah. And as I said, for us, it's just keep going on the way we're going because that seems to be working pretty well. So, I'm happy. As usual. So going into this game, obviously, we believe, not sure Sambi's back or not, but we think Tomiyasu is going to still be out with obviously isolation. And I believe Chambers and Cedric are out as well. So right back's going to be the interesting. Do you go again with Ben White there, or maybe Maitland-Niles?
No, you go Ben White. I reckon Ben White. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Mr. Fox?
Yeah, I'll have to go Ben White. I was quite impressed with the way he played against Norwich. I mean, I know it was against Norwich, but and the thing is, he's versatile in those two areas anyway. So we knew about him when we signed him that he might end up playing at right back in some games anyway. So no problems there. Holding Gabriel would be the two at the back. So
did any of you watch the City game against Leicester?
I saw highlights.
All Brighton playing right back. It looks he's not a natural right back, and Sterling gave him a torrid one. So again, Ben White's not the quickest, but that's my only fear is if he gets isolated out there, could it be a problem? So do you go for the quicker player with Maitland-Niles, or do you just go more defensively solid?
I'd rather go with White. And you know what? If White's smart, off the bat, nice and early, get him right in the thigh real hard, slow him down. No, look, it's business. It's business. I had enough of this niceness. Nah, football ain't nice. We all say it is. It's not. Get him early, slow him down. I know they can go and sub him, but if we take out a couple of feet off Sterling, get him slow down a bit, it won't be a problem anymore.
I hear you.
This is the thing. Someone touched on it on the Norwich reaction, where they noticed how Holding was playing the ball to Ben White more, so that you're going to carry the ball forward.
That's worrying.
And I trust Ben White more to do that than anybody else that would cover it right back. So I would have to go with Ben White.
Yeah, fair enough. Big Dogs, he's going for a 4-0 City win as his prediction. That's telling. We're going to come to that a bit later.
Come on now, man. Come on now. Anyway.
We just hate that we're predicting losses. I don't like it. I really
yeah,
don't.
It's horrible, isn't it?
And the
you know
way
what it
we're
is?
playing at the moment.
You know what kills me is everyone goes, "Oh, look what happened to you guys the first time." The first time, if you look at the back line that I got now, we don't have the same back line anymore. Relax, guys.
That back line against City, we played 3 at the back. The only centre back that was, who played constantly at centre back was Rob Holding. He had Chambers and Kolasinac at the back with him.
Yeah. We parked the bus
for 2 goals.
Yeah. And we parked the bus with boys that aren't even on the pitch, including the goalkeeper. So
and then Xhaka does a madness.
Yeah. Hopefully, look, he ain't gonna do it again. He better not.
Yeah, he's talking a lot in the comments now, saying he wants to go for tackles, but he's not going to go for him and whatever else. But
now you're not supposed to say that. You shouldn't say that. Don't say things like that.
He's giving himself a little
quiet, Big Dog.
Hard. Big Dog. So Big Dog's is saying when he predicts a loss, we win. So let's hope. Let's hope it still comes to fruition for us because we need it. But
it's like I said though. It's like I said. If Grealish and Foden are playing, it's all good. They're going to have a major hangover at 12:30 in the afternoon on New Year's Day.
Yep. So just back into our starting 11. Obviously, the other kind of issue, I believe the centre midfield won't change. That would be Partey and Xhaka. Obviously, we've had a rest. We didn't have our game against Wolves yesterday. So the players had a bit more of a rest. Or was it the day before he was meant to play, weren't it? Sorry, the day before.
Tuesday, yeah.
So I think the only major talking point would then be, does ESR come back in? And if so, who for? Or do we go with the Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli 3, which has been working pretty well for us? Aussie, Smith Rowe, does he start?
Honestly, I would probably say keep it like it is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know it's hard to say no Smith Rowe, but you know what? He's an impact player off the bench. If I don't see nothing happen in the 60th, right, I flip a coin on Martinelli or Odegaard. Either one of them, just depending on how either one of them is performing. If Odegaard is disappeared in the game like he does sometimes, then I say, okay, off you come. Or if Martinelli just looks like he can't cope, then I can chuck in fresh Emile Smith Rowe. Yeah. It adds a different dynamic to our team, having a player of his quality on the bench. And to be honest, I think he's going to be ready to rumble. And I think he's coming off the bench. He's going to be like, I've got something to prove. Because if in this game against City, he comes off the bench and proves it again,
he's got to start
selection.
Next game, yeah.
I tell you what, Martinelli versus, was it Walker that plays on that side? That'd be an interesting matchup.
Yeah. And he's got legs, man, because Martinelli's got some legs and he loves direct, he likes to cut in. ESR, he's not too bad, but he kind of slows down a little bit. I don't think he's at the same sort of pace as Martinelli. So that's why I want Martinelli to start. Hopefully, tire him out a bit. And if ESR comes in for him,
see what happens. Yeah.
Bit of madness.
Again, if you look back at Leicester game against City, and sometimes we are a different team to Leicester. Defensively, I think we're better than them, especially from set pieces. So again, that stands in good stead. But what Leicester did well was how quick they countered at City. When they won the ball back, they went straight for them. And I do think Martinelli in the team really helps with that. Do you know what I mean? He's got that directness about him. But I'm hoping we're brave. I hope we don't just sit back, because that's when you play into City's hands, because you can't get out and they just recycle the ball very well. And they're just wave after wave of attack. So I think we need to take some confidence from what Leicester did in that second half against them. And we really need to try and kind of go at them, be sensible with it. But do you know what I mean? We know Lacazette's going to lend himself and help defensively. So if it means you be a bit more braver with Saka and Martinelli, who might play a little bit higher, and almost use them as your outball, we need to have an outball, because what I've seen sometimes against Liverpool and against City is we just can't get out. We can't get out of our own half because we're all so deep.
It's our midfield's caused us problems before, and I know Guardiola's going to be looking at those two players and saying they can be got at. I think the best thing we can do now is hold our shape. Remember, hold your shape. And when it comes to defending, press, get onto a player. Don't zone or mark. I mean, get on him, jump on him. I don't want any of their players to have 2 seconds on the ball. I want us to be all over him, hanging off him like a rash. And of course, if we do recover that ball, we get them on a counter. I don't think we're going to be able to play fluent football with City. I think it's going to be just like you said, on the counter and holding our shape. But look, they can be got at. Any team can be got at in the Premier League, and that's what most people don't understand. It's like, it's Manchester City. I don't care if it's friggin' Manchester City. I mean, look at Chelsea. Everyone was saying Chelsea was going to be phenomenal. What's happened there?
Dropping points like crazy. That man Liverpool at the moment dropping points. So
yeah,
for me, it's a game we go into it. I wouldn't be disappointed, not too disappointed if we lose, but I think I'll be more disappointed if we don't have a go at them. If we just roll over and let them come out with a 2-0 when we don't lay a glove on them, that would frustrate me more than anything. But yeah, I think we just got to go at them. And if we end up getting beat, like Leicester come out of that with a lot of respect. Do you know what I mean? When for the second half performance, so if we could do something similar, I'm not going to grumble too much. Who do you think the main danger men are for City? I know they've got a lot, but who are you more worried about at the moment? Because again, it doesn't matter. We've got one game it's Sterling, the next game is Bernardo, then it's Gundogan.
I just did my preview and I was like, I don't know how to pick a starting lineup for them. Like seriously, I don't know. And for me, I look at Bernardo, I look at Sterling if they play. God knows.
Foden, Grealish,
and then there's De Bruyne. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen anything like this though? Like again, we grew up in the era of Wenger and Ferguson, and they used to have 2 players for each position, but you knew who the starting 11 was, and the guys coming off the bench were good, but they weren't that level. But I said, if they don't play, sometimes they don't play someone. I don't even realize they're not playing Foden or Sterling. Didn't get minutes at the start of the year. Like Bernardo Silva wanted out, and now he's to me being the player of the season so far. Like it's they just got
injured
players
for how long?
He comes back and he just scores 2 on his day. Like he just comes back and he just like it's nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's. Have you ever seen anything like this? Like where a team is just throughout the whole squad is just quality.
Do you know the worst thing about it as well? Is that they've got obviously the whole team, but they haven't got a striker that's a 25+ goal a season, and they're still doing what they're doing. It's scary. Imagine if they did get a striker in January. That is that kind of striker. Maybe now's the best time to play him because they might get a striker in January.
Yeah, get it over and done with quick. I mean, I've only ever seen this with like a Barcelona back in the day, where these guys had quality all over the joint. But in the Premier League, Premier League, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know how the hell financial fair play works, but
to be fair to them, like they spend a lot, but they don't go crazy on like the 90 million signings, do they? I think a lot of them average around that 45 to 50 kind of mil. So when you actually look at what their spend is, quantity wise, they've got a lot of 50 millions in there. But when you look at what Barcelona did with 100 and something on Coutinho, 100 on Dembele, like they spent silly money. But right, let's get into the score predictions. Silver Fox, how you feeling? What are you going for?
I don't know. Do you know what? I honestly think like we could have one of those Arsenal performances where we we'll beat them. Like we're going like a 2-1, and then again you can see a drubbing.
It's that heart and head situation, isn't it? You go with your heart or your head? That's the question.
But a draw wouldn't be so bad. I'm making my predictions looking at the league table.
It's about points. It's about the mathematics. I was talking about that.
And obviously, a draw. We're what we 5 ahead of Spurs.
Yeah, I think they've got 2 games.
And we got them next. We got them after. So a draw would be nice.
Yeah.
So because we're going to draw, we're going to lose 2-1, aren't we?
Yeah.
No. New year, new positivity. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. Sod it.
I like that. I love that. Ozzy, what are we going for?
Well, I was thinking draw. My head tells me draw. My heart tells me 2-1 as well. He was saying 2-1. I'm going in my heart. I'm thinking 2-1, but my head's telling me draw. So go with my heart 2-1. Go with my head draw. Fuck it. I'm going to go with my heart 2-1.
Look at this. These guys are crazy. You
know what would be funny? If it ends up being 2-1 and me and you will do another vid, Mr. Fox, right? Of us just fucking celebrating jump for joy.
Going crazy. You know what?
I'll say the same thing about Spurs,
again, it's
Spurs is going to be good.
All my footballing knowledge and know-how says to be Man City win. But like you're saying, it's a game of football and we should be quietly confident. And if we do what we've been doing this season, what we've been then there's no reason why we couldn't come out and get something. Like, I don't want to say 2-1 because it's the same old prediction, isn't it? But I've got to stay positive. Oh God.
Let's be
I'm
real.
gonna
If we're
go
gonna win, it's gonna be 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I
Let's
don't
be
think we're
real.
gonna keep a clean sheet. However, yeah, no, they're firing at the moment. I'll go
Hey, look, it's not like we're not firing. So this is
That's
the
true.
thing. See, a lot of people
That
saying,
is
"Well, they're
true.
firing at the moment." Okay, when we look at the last 3 games, right? They've conceded more than we have.
Mm.
We
And
scored
we're
the same
not
amount of
far off.
goals.
Yeah, we're
I'll
not
be
far
honest.
off.
I'll be honest. I'll be buzzing at a 0-0.
Yeah, no, I'm going to watch it.
Look,
I've got to see a goal.
Look, 1 point. Look, 1 point. 1 point. Look, any points. The way I
1
see
point,
games.
clean sheet against City.
Yeah.
Oh, all day long. Take that.
Yeah.
Look, guys, end of the day, like if we can get 1 point out of this, it's better than nothing. If we can get 3, we're jumping for joy. Most teams are going to struggle against City, but if we can pull a result from this, it shows how serious we really are as a team and how much we've grown up. Anyone else that looks at Arsenal now, they're going to say, they drew against City and they're celebrating a draw. No, we're not going to celebrate a draw, but we're going to take that 1 point. End of the day, that could be 1 point that gets us into Champions League, right?
Yeah,
and if it was
100%.
Man United and if it was Liverpool or whatever, and they got a draw, they'd be like, "Oh, sometimes you win some, sometimes you draw some, sometimes you lose some," and they'll just brush it off. But as Arsenal fans or as Arsenal supporters, we can't do that. End of the day, any points that can be added to our overall could see us hold into Champions League positions. So,
and the fact that
we just need to see something
there as well. People
yeah, that's big. That's big.
So you get any points without your manager being there. I'll tell you what,
big points. Yeah, no, I'm with you. So I'm gonna go 2-2. So you two have gone for wins. I've gone for a draw.
He's gone for the 2022. Have you? I see what you've done there.
Yeah, I see that. You've seen that.
But yeah, it should be. I said whatever it is, it should be a good game. And as long as we as long as we fight, no, it's nothing silly. Like again, no silly red cards, anything like that. And again, the fans are going to be well behind this.
We've got goals coming from everywhere. We've got goals coming from everywhere right now. Most people can see it. We got goals coming from either wing. We got goals coming from the midfield. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's time for Lacazette to shine, and it ends up being in this game. I'm just saying, you never know what can happen.
You never know. Yeah. It could come down to set
I just hope that there's a sellout crowd because that would intimidate Man City. They can't deal with crowds.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for a sellout because City can't deal with crowds, and where half their team's going to be out on the piss the night before, it's going to do their heads in.
All that noise. But yeah, no, it should be. I said it should be a good one. Obviously there'll be a reaction afterwards. I think myself and Canos are going to be going down there, so there might be some vlogs coming. Yeah, so we try and get something out to you. But yeah, no, it should be a good one. And Arsenal, like as I said, we're all behind the team for this one. And again, what I don't want is mad reactions. If we do get slapped up a bit, it is what it is. Like, do you know what I mean? City could do that to the best of them.
Look,
so
the season doesn't end on this game, and this is what people have to understand. It's one game of many. Okay. And with teams like Chelsea losing to lesser teams and blah blah blah, United with Newcastle for fuck's sake, and our good mates Spurs, who have got a world-class manager, and what they couldn't get one over Southampton
with 10 men for 45 minutes.
10 men.
Yeah, and everything going their way, and they could have finished. So what I want to put out there to Arsenal fans is, okay, whatever happens here happens, but don't forget we've got teams that are all around us that are dropping to lesser teams. We're going against the guys that are apparently favourites to win the league. We're not going against Leicester, who we beat.
They're runaway. They're runaway leaders.
Yeah. Well, we beat Leicester. How many goals did Leicester score against us?
Clean sheet. I think Ramsdale.
Clean sheet. Nothing. There was none of that. None of that. And to be perfectly honest, I still think that we can get something from it. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world. We've got a whole bunch of games coming up. We've got Spurs coming up. We'll get 4 against them.
I'm looking forward to that one.
If we beat Man City, you watch the sales of AirPods go mad.
Yeah. Right, on that note, guys, we're going to wrap up. But yeah, stay fingers crossed. And again, let's just go in and enjoy it. And hopefully Arsenal can do something beautiful for us. But Aussie, Silver Fox, appreciate you. And we'll speak soon.
Anytime.
Take care.